Right after I gave birth, social services told me that if I left the hospital with my baby, they would get me arrested for kidnap. I was 17 years old. I had been in foster care for a couple of years. Then I found out I was pregnant. I moved to a new foster placement with a woman who specialised in pregnant teenagers. I moved there when I was 2 months pregnant, so by the time I gave birth, I had already been living there for 7 months. My labour was horrific, but it was very quick. There were complications during my labour, so the midwives wanted me and my daughter to stay at the hospital overnight. So we did. I had given birth at 5:30. I had a couple of visitors and then they all had to leave by 8 o'clock. I stayed overnight and I had to stay on a ward with other women, ones who had just given birth. My baby, she was so small, £5.10. She slept through pretty much the whole night. And when she did wake up, she wasn't crying. It was all the other babies that kept me awake, but that was fine. Now, the plan always was that after I gave birth, I would go back to the foster placement that I had been living in while I was pregnant. And I would live there until I was 18. I was exactly 17 and a half. So for at least 6 months, I'd be living there. My daughter, technically, I don't know if it's foster care by proxy. I don't know if that's the right way to word it, but technically, she would be in foster care as in I'm in foster care. But she wasn't, like, taken into care. Like, while I'm in care, she will be in care. As soon as I leave foster care, she'll be coming with me. There was no child protection plan. She didn't have a social worker. I had a social worker, but she didn't. So I've stayed in hospital overnight. In the morning, the midwife said at lunchtime they wanted to do a few more tests, but then we could go. So I rang my foster carer and I asked her to pick me up around lunchtime so we could go back to her house. Midwives do all the tests. My foster carer comes to pick me up at around 1 p.m. As I am putting my daughter in the car seat, the midwife comes rushing in and she says, "You're not allowed to leave." I was thinking something had shown up in one of these tests. And they were saying, you know, for my daughter's safety, we're not allowed to leave. And so I was like, oh, okay, why not? What's happened? And they had said that they had rung social services to let them know they were discharging me because they have to, right? So I didn't mind they did that. And social services had said, don't let her leave until we see her. So I was a bit like, well, when are they coming? And the midwife's like, they can't come today. And I'm like, excuse me? She's like, yeah, they can't come today. She said that she's got loads of children to visit today, so she can't come here. I'm like, okay, well then I'm going to go then. And the midwife's like, no, we've been told that if you leave, we have to report you missing to the police. We have to report you for kidnap. And that was the social worker's orders. I thought it was a joke. I thought, like, not a joke, but I was like, this midwife, she must be exaggerating. Like, there's no way. So I called the social worker myself. And then she confirmed what the midwife said. She said, we can't let you leave until we see that you and your baby are okay. And I said, well, did the midwife tell you that we were okay? And she was like, yeah, but we still need to see for ourselves. And I was like, well, can't Sandra, that's my fake name for the foster carer, can't Sandra drive me home and then you come and visit us tomorrow? No, has to be at the hospital. I hang up. I burst into tears because to me that's just bullshit. Like, why? I would understand if it was like a situation of me and my daughter going straight to live independently, which was what was going to happen when I turned 18. I would understand. Or even if we were going to a completely new foster placement, I would kind of understand. But we were going back to somewhere we had already lived. Like, they knew my foster carer. Anyway, yeah, I burst into tears. Because I just wanted to go home. I'd given birth without pain relief. I was in so much pain still. I just wanted my bed. My daughter had barely any clothes with us. We'd only bought a couple of outfits with us. I'm then trying to breastfeed. Nothing is coming out because I was so tense. Ended up having to bottle feed her. Couldn't breastfeed her in the end. That night, the midwives ended up giving me my own private room. I think they just felt sorry for me. And then the next day, I'm not going to go into detail because I'll get angry, but pretty much the same thing. The exact same thing. Social worker was too busy to see me. That's 3 nights I've spent in hospital now. The first night, fine, I had to. But the other 2 nights, when it got to the 4th day of me being in hospital, I texted the social worker and I said, you're not coming today, are you? She said, no, I'm on annual leave. I rang my foster carer and I just said, take us home. Take us home. If they want to ring the police, they can ring the police. In hindsight, I would have done it the first day, but I was so, like, just left. I was genuinely scared. I really thought I was going to be arrested. I thought it'd be better to sleep at the hospital than in a cell. And I thought I would just be marked down as a bad mum. I've been asked not to leave and then I defy social services. I thought they would use that against me. But by that 4th day, I didn't care anymore. I was like, I need to get my baby home. My foster carer came and got me. Midwives told me not to go. They really advised me not to. And I said, I'm sorry, but I am. Like, if you need to ring the police, you go for it. And they were like, no, we're not going to ring them, but we need to tell social services you're leaving. And I was like, that's fine, ring them. And I texted the social worker myself saying, I'm leaving. I didn't think she'd actually read it because at annual leave, they just turn their phones off. But we left, me and the foster carer. She came and got me. I'd put my baby in the car seat already. At the time, I lived in Thornton Heath. The hospital I gave birth in was like 30-40 minutes away, because the closest hospital to Thornton Heath was called Croydon University now, but it used to be called Mayday, which people would call Mayday for a reason. Because of traffic, it took us about 40-45 minutes to get back. We got back to my foster carer's house. The social worker was already parked in the driveway. I want to add, the social worker's office from the hospital I gave birth in was a 15-minute walk away. I'm not exaggerating. 5-minute drive, 15-minute walk. So all this time that she said she couldn't get to the hospital because she was so busy or because she was on annual leave, she managed to get to the foster placement before us. I opened the door. I'm looking around like, where's the police? She comes up to me and she said, oh, is that your baby, right? She points at my baby in the car seat and I was like, yeah. She poked her head in and she was like, oh, she's adorable. And I was like, mm-hmm. She was like, should we go in the house and have a chat? Went in the house with my baby. She kept saying how cute she was. And then said, oh, okay, well, I'll see you in 2 weeks then. And then she left. I got held in hospital for 4 days for that. I ended up leaving foster care a month later. My daughter's, like I said, she's never been in care. She's never been on any child protection plan. It's only in hindsight. She's 12 now, by the way. She's 12. It's only in hindsight when I look back on that and think how much that really affected us being able to bond at that time. It obviously did in the end, and me and her were like best friends now. But at that time, those 4 days where it was just, we were just in a hospital bed, like we couldn't go out. Like I couldn't even go on a walk. Social services really just made me feel like a bad mum. It's like I couldn't be trusted with my own baby, but it's like they trusted me alone in hospital with her. You know, the midwives weren't like keeping guard, but they couldn't trust me back at the foster placement with my foster carer. I don't know what the point was. Like, I get the whole point of they want to see, you know, they want to see the foster child's baby. But why they couldn't have sent a duty worker to the house? It really affected, that first month after I gave birth was so tough. Because I was like, yeah, they don't even, like, do they think I'm a danger to my child? Like, can they see a danger that I can't see? Because I couldn't see what it was. Like, while I was pregnant, I'd kept myself to myself. I would just go to college all day and then come home. College all day, come home. And so I was there. They just made me feel like a terrible parent. I'm lucky that I had, like, my foster carer support. Like, with my foster carer, my foster carer on the 2nd day was like, I'll just take you. Like, I don't care. I won't let anyone arrest you. But imagine if you don't have that support. And imagine the girls that are kept there for, like, 5 or 6 days, 7 days, 8 days. But that is social services for you.